Hi guys, welcome to Energize Coaching. Here we're going to take a look at the abdominal machine, and obviously this is going to be focusing on the abdominals here. Now, before we go into the exercise itself, it's important to try and understand what the abdominals are and what their role is within the body. Okay, now think of the shape, think of a six-pack, and think about how they're laid out at the front of the body. Okay, the reason they're like that is because it allows us to extend the spine and flex the spine. Think about the spine rolling up like a shop blind. Okay, now a lot of people make the mistake of assuming that if they come to a machine like this, they're working their abs. Okay, now if you think about what my spine is doing while I'm doing these reps, my spine isn't bending or straightening. Yes, I'm squeezing my abs, but I'm actually working my hip flexor. The hip flexor's job is to lift the leg. Okay, so that's what I'm doing there. Now, to stabilize the spine, I'm squeezing my abs and my core's lit up as well. And when you do a set of these, that's what you're feeling. Now, again, if I was to do that with my arm, that's the equivalent of me squeezing my bicep, but not actually bending and straightening my arm. Okay, the role of the bicep is to bend the arm. The role of the abdominals is to flex and extend the spine. So in this machine, think like this. I'm not coming forward. Okay, so if I do that from the side, you'll see if I come forward, I'm bending here. I'm hinging at the hips. What I've got to try and do is curl. So I'm bringing my shoulders towards my pelvis. Okay, now if I want to train my upper abdominals, shoulder needs to come towards pelvis. If I wanted to train my lower abdominals, I could use that Roman chair, but I would then have to bring my pelvis up and off the back pad. So my spine is actually flexing to bring the pelvis upwards towards the shoulders. Okay, so firstly the setup. Feet should be flat on the ground, nice wide base, giving us stability throughout the movement. Okay, don't really need to set a huge amount of weight on this. First thing is get the foundation of the exercise right, understand the movement, and then each week you can progressively overload that. So, arms sit on the pads. And again, I'm going to encourage the rolling movement. So I'm just going to tuck my chin in and then my hands sit on the grips, but I'm not pulling the handles forward. Okay, that obviously would be an arm exercise. So I'm thinking about rolling up into a ball in that position there. And I'm trying to get my shoulders down towards my pelvis. Now, essentially what I'm doing is I'm closing the gap between my sternum, which is the top of the abdominal complex, and the hips. Okay, so I'm closing that gap. Now, this is where breathing is important. As I blow out, that drops the diaphragm and it takes air out of the lungs. So I'm going to find it easier to contract the abdominals when there's no air in the lungs. Breathe in on the way up. So again, just closing that gap between the sternum and the hips. Notice how light the grip is on the handles. Chin comes into chest. Okay, so I'm feeling that in the upper abdominals. Now again, let's talk about the breathing side of things. If I was doing a squat and I want the spine to stay straight, I would breathe in, trap a load of air around the spine, in the lungs, and that would give me a little bit of extra stability in the squat. Okay, this is the opposite. We're trying to encourage the spine to bend and flex. Okay, so that's why I'm thinking about, and I don't want any air in my lungs here to allow these to contract fully. Okay, so that's the abdominal crunch machine.